All right, we're doing something related to one of the countries that has come out the most for us is the Netherlands, beyond
Yep.
Amsterdam, through Rick Steves Europe, which is new to the channel now.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm here for it, man. I'm
Yeah.
I'm down for all these videos that help us peek behind the curtain some per se.
Yeah, get to know a country that has shown us love and where you show them love back.
Yep.
And let's just dive into it.
Let's do it, man.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Rick Steves, back with more of the best of Europe. The people here claim if you stand on a chair, you can see all across their country. This is the best of the Netherlands. Thanks for joining us.
I get it.
You get it?
Because all their shit's like below sea level.
Right. You can see it.
Got it.
All right, so I guess I'm looking to him for inspiration for doing all these travels now.
Yeah.
Add him to the list along with Walter's World, Anthony Bourdain, people like that.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Traveling here, it's easy to see how the Netherlands is a lot like its people. Efficient, a good balance of old and new, hard work and fun, innovation and tradition. Even with a dense population and an ongoing battle with the sea, the Dutch are warm and even-keeled. We'll cruise through a mighty port, go for an old-fashioned sail, and visit the ultimate flower market. We'll marvel at Dutch masters, smoke some eels, pull out all the stops on an unforgettable organ, and start up a classic windmill. In the west of Europe is the Netherlands, with 12 provinces, including North and South Holland. Everything we'll see is within an hour of Amsterdam. We'll sail what was the Zuider Sea, blocked off by long dams. Explore characteristic towns from Delft to Rotterdam and Haarlem to Marken, with lots in between.
All right, I appreciate this already, that he's not just sticking to Amsterdam, which every, person from Netherlands that comments on this, that's their big thing of like, yeah, go to Amsterdam, but don't spend all your time in Amsterdam.
Yep.
So.
It's good that this man's gonna take us to Haarlem. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'd love to go to Haarlem.
Probably the safest Haarlem out there.
Yeah.
So hey, man.
Come on, man.
This is hey, but for real though, it's funny because anyway, history, New York, all that stuff.
Yeah, New Amsterdam. Yeah,
history, Haarlem, got it. Anyway, I like it.
Yeah.
It almost looks syndicated, dude.
Yeah, like it's a show on PBS or something.
Yeah, why does it look so like PBS-y?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Well,
Most Dutch travel dreams are set in the area called Holland, and that's where we'll be spending most of our time. Like many fortified old cities, Delft welcomes you with the twin towers of its city gate, graced by an old drawbridge and a canal moat. Its delightful architecture recalls the Golden Age, the 17th century pinnacle of Dutch trade and sea power. Quaint scenes line intimate canals. It's Thursday, and that means market day in Delft. In towns all over the Netherlands, main squares become thriving markets one day a week. It's late June, and the herring are in season. And every market comes with a cheesemonger, almost evangelical about the tastiness of Dutch cheese. Ask a question, and you're in for an education, complete with samples. This is young. How young is this?
About 4 or 6 weeks.
So tell me about this one.
4.5 years old, handmade and quite strong. We have sometimes we have them even older.
I like that. Give me a glass of port, and this is my dessert.
Yeah.
Towering over the square is the church with its bricks.
yeah, Look, that's my love language right there. It's cheese.
Yep, I'm sold.
Yeah. And when I went to St. Martin, the Dutch side, I've talked about this before, but some of the best Gouda I've ever had in my life.
I'm already sold. This man right here has the top job out there.
Yes,
selling cheese.
I want his job.
This is my dessert. Towering over the square is the church with its brick steeple rocketing skyward. And facing that, overseeing the town's commerce as it has for nearly 1,000 years, is the City Hall. Much of the Netherlands is built on soggy land. The City Hall, with its heavy stone jail, was built on the most solid land in town. The leaning church, just down the canal, not so much. The town's historic canals both drained the land and provided a transportation network for barges. Today, the old barges are retired. Many are permanently moored in front of cafes and restaurants for outdoor dining. Over the centuries, these little canals shipped out countless barge loads of the town's famed earthenware. Delftware is famous all around the world. Royal Delft, the oldest surviving workshop established back in the 1600s, welcomes visitors to drop in and see how it's made. Visitors to the factory follow the process. First, the liquid clay is poured into plaster molds. When dry, it's removed and the seams are smoothed off. Then it's baked. And then lovingly painted by hand. A mesmerizing scene, unchanged for centuries.
Wow.
After being glazed to fix the paint, it's baked a second time, during which the paint turns blue. That's the...
Oh my God, that's basically every fine china that I've seen in southern homes.
Yeah. So, wait, it dries or it cures blue? So originally it's like black, like she was painting?
Yeah, and then it turns blue. Like
blows my mind, dude.
Yeah, it sees a bit of a bluish hue in the shot right here.
That's every country cupboard has the blue and white plates.
Yeah, and now we know where they come from. The Netherlands.
Secret of Royal Delft Blue since 1653. The finished product? This highly valued earthenware. Rooms of historic Delftware show off this art. This table setting is laid out as if it was the home of a wealthy person here in Delft. The Netherlands is small, smaller than West Virginia, and the most densely populated country in Europe.
Yeah, it is smaller than West Virginia.
Whoa. That just put everything into perspective.
Yeah, you could fit that whole country in West Virginia.
That's something that... This is a first for me. I like that. When you compare, especially for us here, like, let's say a country to a state, we can grasp that.
Yeah.
Like, that's... Yeah. When it's like, it's this many kilometers wide. And like that could be made up numbers. I don't even know what that is. But if you're like, West Virginia is bigger than this, like, holy shit. I get that.
And more densely populated. That's another thing.
Well, it doesn't take much to more densely populate West Virginia.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Most of the country is below sea level, reclaimed with great effort over many generations from the sea. That's why they like to say, God made the world, but the Dutch, we made Holland. This is polderland. Much of it once covered by the sea, it was encircled by dikes and dams and then drained. To pump out all that water, the Dutch used one of their leading natural resources, the wind. For centuries, the Dutch built windmills. Over 1,000 survive, and many still work. Some welcome visitors interested in a peek at the clever engine that powered the creation of this land. I'm standing on reclaimed land, 12 feet below sea level. The challenge for the Dutch, to keep this land dry by pumping water uphill. Many windmills used their wind power to turn an Archimedes screw like this, which by rotating in a tube, lifted water up and over the dike. To catch the desired amount of wind, Millers, like expert sailors, know just how much to unfurl the sails or furl them back as necessary. Mills are built with sturdy oak timber frames to withstand the constant tension. These timbers have stood strong since the 1600s.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
When the direction of the wind shifts, the miller turns the cap of the building, which weighs many tons, to face the breeze.
Wow.
As he spins the winch, it all slides on these wooden roller bearings.
Dang,
What?
God.
Then, with a hefty chain, he anchors it in the correct spot. As the
What?
wooden
Wow, this is like a whole mechanism right here.
This is nuts. I didn't know the windmill top spun. No
Yeah.
shit. Like that. Something I've never had to think about. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Was just like today I found out.
right. They're not just pretty decorations. They have a purpose to get the water away, and they do it in a very high technical way. Of you could fix the parts of the wings, the mill. I don't know what they're called, and rotate this thing like.
Like the fact that you can move the top to catch the wind is just like, why is that mind blowing to me? But at the same time, very elementary. Like, no shit, it's genius. It's all wood. What
Yeah.
the hell, man?
Yeah,
Wow,
and they keep the land dry.
dude,
Like-
that's a full time job. Then, like,
Yeah.
you gotta stay on top of it. If the wind shifts, whenever the wind shifts, you know, and unfurl and furl the freaking sails pretty much to catch the wind in the right speed. Like that's whoa.
Yeah, yeah. All y'all from Netherlands that are saying, don't spend all your time in Amsterdam. This is the type of thing that would
Yeah.
get me out of Amsterdam.
I would spend an unfortunate amount of time in one of these. Just be like, oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
genius.
yeah. This is how you get me away from great beer, great cheese, great women. Is windmills right here.
Yeah. This is nuts, man.
cogs connect, wind becomes clean power. Archimedes' screw rotates, and the water spirals up.
Dang, man.
What?
The Dutch had long eyed what was the vast inland Zuider Sea as a source of new land. This 18-mile-long dam was built as one of many steps in turning that sea into farmland. The master plan, cordon off sections of the shallow sea with hundreds of miles of dams and dikes like this. Then, by draining each section dry, piece by piece, build a bigger country. These fields were once the bottom of that wide open sea. Gradually, land was reclaimed, and today the Netherlands is twice the size it was 400 years ago.
Heck yeah.
Because of this reclamation,
Man, that's how you build a
Yo.
nation.
Yo. Wow.
Man, that gives you some
Yeah,
orange pride,
that's-
doesn't it?
That's 100% respect right there.
Yeah.
Like Mother Earth's doing its own thing, and they're like, "Oh no, we got better plans."
Yeah, yeah.
Holding my cheese.
Yes. Hold my Heineken.
Yep.
what had been fishing villages on little islands, like Schokland, are now high and dry mounds rising above fertile farmland. Behind this sturdy stone and wood seawall, this tiny community once harvested the sea. In its day, this cannon warned visitors of a high tide. I'm standing.
That seems like something right up your alley, man.
No, it's just it's so crazy. Like it's so nuts to like they beat the sea back.
Yeah.
You know, like that thing that is not beaten ever has like a almost perfect record. You know,
Yeah.
they beat that into submission.
Yeah, yeah. The sea checks its closet every night for the Dutch.
What? I'm blown away. So that whole thing that we just saw was basically beachfront property,
Yeah.
and now it's farmland.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Of a high tide. I'm standing below sea level. I know that because I picked up a handful of dirt and it came with some shells. And this marks sea level, according to the official Amsterdam measure, 0. Imagine, a couple generations ago, this buoy bobbed in the harbor. What was the bottom of the sea is now productive farmland. The salty seabed soil, with a mix of rain, sunshine, and clever crop rotation, eventually becomes extremely fertile. One thing the polder soil grows particularly well is flowers. And here at the Alsmeer Flower Auction, it's clear. Flowers are big business in Holland. Visitors are welcome in this, one of the world's largest commercial buildings. They witness millions of dollars in the trafficking of flowers. In its auction halls, hundreds of wholesalers bid on trainloads of flowers as they roll by. To get the flowers out as fresh as possible, everything happens fast, including the bidding. A Dutch auction is speedy because the prices go from high to low. Batches of flowers are sold to the first buyer to press the button. Buyers must be lightning quick. It's the only way to sell so many flowers in one morning. Strolling the fragrant catwalk, it's fun to peer down on the action. They boast that fresh flowers go from cutting in the fields to flower shops anywhere in Europe within 24 hours. Workers...
Okay, that was going to be my question, is how far can these flowers travel? Because, like, there's no way you can get them overseas. Like, that's just impossible.
Wow. I know a lot of our flower imports come from Colombia.
Yeah.
I know that because you check the price tags and stuff. So
right,
that's super. Why is my mind just being blown so far? Like flowers, like they've mentioned it before in a couple videos that we've checked out, but like seeing this is not like mom and pop flower shop. This is industry.
Yeah,
right here.
This goes pretty darn quick, and I guess there's like flower bidding wars, like flower auctions.
Crazy. I mean, I think it's so interesting to have like a cash crop be flowers. Like that's amazing. So
yeah. Was Miley Cyrus hanging out here before she wrote that song?
Yeah, I can buy myself flowers or push the button fast.
Yeah. So, but that didn't sing well. Anyway.
No, it didn't sing well.
Workers scramble to get each buyer's purchase assembled on a train and shipped out. The Dutch are the world's leading flower exporters. 80% of these flowers are going abroad. Every day from this building, 20 million flowers are shipped, destined to make someone's day. The industrious heritage of the Dutch people is evident in its many historic cities. Haarlem is a Dutch master's kind of town, with plenty of 17th century architecture. The town gate, no longer needed as part of its fortification, welcomes all into a delightful old town. Haarlem's Market Square, traffic-free since the 1960s, has been the town's focal point for centuries. The herring stand is a standard feature of small town squares throughout Holland. Hello.
Hi.
Is it herring time now, or are these fresh?
It's fresh. It's no herring season, so it's
in the summertime.
great.
It's good.
Yeah, summer times.
So what are my options?
The options outside of Amsterdam, they grab it from the tail
And
so
just
they
send it
slide
right
it inside and they bite it.
Yeah. And in Amsterdam?
In Amsterdam, we cut it in pieces.
Let's have it Amsterdam style.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Do you want onions and pickles with it?
What is the normal weight?
With everything.
I'll have everything. That's
The
great.
whole package.
The whole package. Beautiful. And
You
this
want-
is actually raw?
This is raw. It's marinated with salty, and then we eat it with the Dutch flag.
So this is a patriotic duty in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
Is this, people say this is a healthy thing to eat.
it is.
So how do you say delicious and healthy?
Lekker en gezond.
Lekker en gezond.
Yeah,
Raw fish.
raw fish.
Why not? This will make me a good man.
You already are, but now you're better.
Lekker en gezond.
So sushi.
Yeah.
They're sushi, and they got it with pickles and stuff.
See, like I feel like anywhere else that is a oh hell no. But like there where I mean you're below sea level. You're basically Atlantis at that point. Like
Yeah.
yeah, fish. Yes. I
Yeah.
will trust fish from there.
Right, right. Me personally, my limit for seafood in terms of like how far you are away from water is 1 hour. And he said at the top of this program that it would be there'd be an hour from Amsterdam. So I would trust that.
Oh yeah, but I think he's in like the countryside. I think he could spit at water
Right, right,
right there.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that's awesome. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm with you 100%. You should not have like for me, I'm not eating at no seafood place in Oklahoma. You know what I mean?
No,
Like I'm not
no.
doing that. But if I'm like on the ocean, I can like you said in that one vlog, if you can see the water, that's the best seafood.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
exactly. Exactly. So I trust that. I would try that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cover some of Haarlem's sights, dodge bikes down narrow, characteristic lanes. Just down the street, Haarlem's top museum features the work of its most famous son, the great portrait artist Frans Hals. Here, in a room full of his masterpieces, we get a good taste of Protestant Dutch art. When the Dutch broke away from Spain and the Catholic Church in the 1600s, they established an independent Protestant republic. While this was great for freedom, it was a crisis for painters. No more wealthy bishops and art-loving kings to commission grand works of art. Dutch society was a merchant society, and now artists worked for a new kind of customer. Merchants. These are the ego-boosting portraits of city bigshots. They epitomize the independent and upwardly mobile Dutch of the 17th century. The men who made the Golden Age golden. These Dutchmen worked hard and were proud of it.
So basically, they're painting the blue collar folks.
Yeah.
Is what they're doing. The merchants.
Why did I must have forgotten about the whole Spanish. I want to say Spanish, but it's Spain. So it's
Yeah.
like I forgot about that whole connection completely.
Yeah.
That just reminded me. So break from Spain, Catholic Church, this working blue collar. This is their portraits. This is their what is it? This is their Facebook profiles right here. Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Here, some business leaders close a deal. They enjoyed displaying the fruits of their labor, like this, an exquisitely detailed still life of good food. No preachy Madonnas or saints, but a canvas reminder that this household ate very well. And this family had some fine pewterware. In this woman's portrait, her elegant dress and jewelry are painted with as much care as her face. Painters showed city pride as well. The centerpiece of most Dutch cities is the church. You see it in 300-year-old paintings, and you see it today as you explore.
Wow.
Haarlem's Groot Kerk, or Great Church, towers over the market square as if to bless all the business that takes place below.
Very nice.
Inside, you find a towering Gothic nave, which was whitewashed and purged of its Catholic ornamentation when the Reformation arrived in 1566. Small frescoed sections revealed when the whitewash was cleaned off show how the entire church was originally decorated. As was the case in many Protestant countries, rather than huge, preachy works of visual art like frescoes and statues promoting the message of the church, the artistic emphasis was put on music. Protestant churches invested in mighty pipe organs. Haarlem's towering organ has been giving worship here an inspirational soundtrack since 1738. And visitors enjoy free concerts weekly.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful right
That's
there.
that's a work of art, dude.
Yeah, not just in the design, but just how it sounds. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure it took a lot to put that together. But that's the thing I love about those churches. They're preserved from, hundreds of years ago. Like the churches, like especially in my county, like where there's church after
Yeah.
church after church being built. After one half of the congregation finds out something about the priest and they
Yeah.
break off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That-
it just seems too disposable in where I am. Like this is a work of art right here.
I remember though, like over there across the pond, churches were more than just like I would say religious outposts, or religious centers,
Right.
because that's where the back in the way back days, right? That's where the only people that knew how to read were there in those churches.
Right.
And that was
right.
the center of commerce almost.
Right.
So
right.
like it has more. I don't want to say this.
Go ahead.
It has equal parts historic and religious value.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like cultural, historic, religious, like that Venn diagram. It's all kind of crazy. But
Yeah. I mean, in theory, that's a lot of American churches are supposed to be like that too. But and definitely in the big cities, there are ones that are better preserved than others.
Yes.
But I'm just that's just my experience with it, and
Oh, yeah.
it makes me appreciate something like this a lot more.
like this is awesome. This like Oregon's been around since what, 17 something? Is that what it
Oh,
says? 16
probably-
something?
Yeah,
Like, that's
something like that.
Nuts. When you start
Yeah.
throwing dates out like that, I'm just like, dude, I can't even comprehend that.
Yeah.
That's something that's like inconceivable to me right now.
Yeah.
Those dates.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
With Europe's densest population, the Netherlands has invested in an impressive public transportation infrastructure. Buses and trains seem to go everywhere all the time. After leaving Haarlem, in a few minutes we're in Rotterdam with its striking new train station. Rotterdam has a gleaming skyline and Europe's largest port. It's a reminder of the Dutch knack for international trade. Locals say that while the money is spent in Amsterdam, it's made here in Rotterdam.
Makes sense.
They boast that shirts in Rotterdam are sold with the sleeves already rolled up. A walk through this thriving pedestrian zone complements our quaint old world sightseeing with a dose of today's reality. Rotterdam's port is the third largest in the world.
Wow.
With a harbor tour, you can appreciate its immensity. The port handles 35,000 ocean-going vessels each year. That's almost 100 ships a day.
Wow.
While most of these ships sail the open seas, this is where the Rhine River meets the ocean. And from here, riverboats filled with either tourists or cargo can go all the way through Europe to the Black Sea.
Man, and I'm a sucker for a bay tour. Like I did one in Cardiff, and when I lived in Annapolis, those were also always fun to do. So this is right up my alley.
Dude, did you see the architecture behind that one shot, like 2 frames back?
Oh yeah.
Like, that's wild. Like that. What is that building, dude?
That's
That's crazy.
That's a feat of that's amazing right there.
That's like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. That is so amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Gotta love that.
Cargo can go all the way through Europe to the Black Sea. Back in the 17th century, the Dutch East India Company, which did business in ports all around the world, was, in a way, the first great multinational corporation. Today, the Dutch, with little in the way of natural resources, still make their serious money in trade. They remain among the world's great shippers. After mighty Rotterdam, the tiny but historic port of Hoorn, a couple hours to the north, seems quaint. But in its day, it was one of 6 trading cities that joined forces to create the Dutch East India Company.
Wow.
It evokes a rich history from its once formidable harbor to its main square. Overlooking the square is the Westfries Museum, which takes you vividly back to Holland's golden age. Stepping into the venerable building, which dates from the 1600s, the floor creaks. Its planks were salvaged from centuries-old trading ships, which likely sailed all the way to the Spice Islands on the far side of the world. Here you feel the pride and the power of the Dutch when they dominated world trade and brutally capitalized on their far-flung colonial empire. Pondering group portraits above the mantel, you can imagine the influence and the wealth of these tycoons. Here they're portrayed as if they control the globe. In a way, they did. And much of that was because of the value of the spices they imported. With the bland cuisine of Europe back then, you can imagine the demand for these new exotic spices. You could spice up both your food and your life with peppercorns, cloves, and cinnamon. And nutmeg was so valuable, it was said a bag of these could buy a house in 17th century Holland.
Man, that's something through watching like Good Eats on with Alton Brown, learning about the origins of like how these spices came into our cuisine, and learning about the Dutch East India Company blows my mind that a lot of how our geopolitical formations were made were because of spices and importing that and getting them to and from the Spice Islands and India.
It's still like resonates. It like what is it? It built the building block, right? It set the building blocks of the big empires today.
Yeah,
Because of this.
right. Not just the Dutch, but the British and those companies.
Yep.
But nowadays we take it for granted because you could just go down to the local grocery store and buy a spice blend for not that much money. So it's good to remind people of how our whole world was made, because spices to make our food palatable.
Yep.
Exploring Holland, we're struck by the big skies, fertile fields, and flat land. The country is bounded by the North Sea. Where there are no natural dunes to keep the sea out, the Dutch have had to build mighty walls or dikes to protect their farms and communities. Roughly half the people and half the land here in the Netherlands are below sea level. And for 700 years, the Dutch have developed their expertise at keeping this country dry. It's a constant battle. And now with climate change and rising sea levels a reality, the work is that much harder and more expensive. Even with...
All right, so before it gets into this, that looks like a very beautiful beach. Yeah. Aside from, this ship just pouring out whatever the hell it is pouring out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But do y'all swim there? Is the water a good, decent temperature to go swimming in? Y'all, please let us know.
Yeah, because I feel like would you consider the Netherlands Northern Europe?
Yeah, it's in the northern part of Europe.
So it's probably insanely cold, dude.
Probably.
Like, it probably does not get the heat, like, at all.
No.
In those waters.
Right. I mean, unless, like, you're one of those weirdos that takes cold baths and, does ice baths.
No.
Yeah, not me, dude.
With impressive dikes already in place, the Dutch are moving mountains of sand and mud to fortify their dikes and protect their next generation. Famous for both their frugality and their foresight, the Dutch are investing billions of euros as climate change makes its costly impact felt on sea level communities here and around the globe. And flood protection requires more than massive dikes. Built where the big river meets the sea, the Maasland storm surge barrier is an amazing engineering project. When necessary, its two arms, each as long as the Eiffel Tower is high, are swung together to create a barrier. This stops a storm surge from flooding the Rotterdam Delta where 1 million people live.
Okay, so I do have some plans to travel down south to New Orleans later this year, so I heard that a lot of after Hurricane Katrina, the Dutch really helped out the New Orleans area in terms of preventing another Hurricane Katrina type thing from
Yeah.
happening. So that's something I'm gonna look at
Oh,
when
yeah,
I'm
for
down there
sure. For
before I
sure.
get plastered. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go look down to see how they're dealing with potential floods.
Yeah. Because these guys mastered it.
Yeah, they
Like,
figured it out.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
It's a storm surge from flooding the Rotterdam Delta where 1 million people live. Low-lying American cities are importing Dutch expertise as they too face the reality of the future. Along with their role as protectors of the Netherlands, some of the dikes and sand dunes that make the North Sea coast are playgrounds as well. And ever since the industrial age kicked into gear, local workers have come here for their R&R. At the Seaside resort of Scheveningen, that Dutch love of life is cranked way up. Rather than fight the sea, here, people play in it.
Okay, okay.
And for over a century, Dutch holiday goers have enjoyed this promenade. With the comfort of knowing Dutch engineers are keeping the sea at bay, my favorite days in Holland are spent below sea level, in its quaint and picturesque corners. Here you can experience the landscape of Holland as it was back in the 17th century.
Nice.
Exploring villages that seem to be built on both land and water, you get a sense for what life must have been like for the Dutch centuries ago. In the town of Enkhuizen is the Zuiderzee Museum. While the modern world threatens traditional ways of Dutch life, this creative museum strives to keep them alive for future generations to appreciate.
See, right there, that's something right up my alley, is living museums.
Yep.
Not just, inside museums, things you can, interact with. Like,
Yeah.
St. Fagans in Cardiff, Beamish up in Newcastle area of UK. This is stuff I love right here. So
That's awesome.
I'm a bookmark this.
Its sprawling layout allows visitors to travel through both time and culture. In one corner, people are living as if still in a remote fishing village back in 1905. Exploring the park, you enjoy intimate slices of life from Old Holland. The coopers artfully make their barrels watertight. The coal furnace is stoked to run the belt-driven laundromat. Sudsing, agitating, and ringing. The sailmaker stitches a sail. The blacksmith pounds his iron in his wooden clogs.
Nice.
Fishermen are smoking their eels. And visitors devour the entire experience.
Okay, smoked eels, man. I come from a land where they know smoking meat, so smoking eel. I'm still not sold on the idea of eating eel.
Well,
but
if it was given to me, I would say, why not? Once you live forever. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Once. I gotta try it. Right?
yeah. I'd be open to it if someone that I trusted gave me some.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where, it's not taboo there. Over here, I don't know. I've never tasted eel. So would it
Yeah.
taste fishy? Would it taste chickeny? These are important questions.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Let us know down below.
And here in the Netherlands, if you know where to look, you can also enjoy traditional experiences outside the museums. We're sailing to the fishing village of Marken in a traditional fishing boat. A few of these venerable boats survive. This one earns its keep by hiring out to visitors, and in the case of this motley crew, putting them to work.
How are we doing, Captain? Almost. One more go. Yeah, that's it.
How old is this boat?
It's from 1904. Yeah. It's 110 years old, this boat.
What was the purpose? What was the work it did?
The purpose is a fishing boat. It's a working boat. They just did fishing with it, nothing else.
Now, back then, this was saltwater, right?
It was salt water because there was no dike in the north, so it was salt water. So they fished on herring, anchovies.
How many people would work on the boat when it went out?
Well, they were with one skipper and one mate, so they actually did it with two people.
Just two?
Wow.
Only two?
They sailed and worked this ship. They even did fishing with it with two people.
So they would go fishing for how many days?
On Sunday they went to church, of course, and they started on Monday morning, and they came back Friday evening.
5 days out, 2 men in this ship.
Yeah, they were. That was the time of wooden ships and iron men.
Wooden ships and iron men. Those were the days.
That's awesome.
Man, 5 days out to sea, just the two of us.
Jesus.
How fast are we gonna kill each other?
Ooh, man, money's on lunchtime. You know what I mean? Like by lunchtime.
Yeah.
Like
I think so. I think that's
nuts, man.
yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, see, that shit's so cool to me, man. So does that mean all of that is just brackish water? Like, that's what I was led to believe. It's not all pure salt water anymore because of the dikes.
fresh.
It's like brackish.
Right, it's fresh water now.
Yeah.
Like you could maybe take a glass and drink it. I mean, it probably wouldn't. I don't know if it would taste good, but you could do it and not die from too much salt.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Marken welcomes visitors with its charming harbor. It's a favorite with vacationing yachters who enjoy late sunsets with convivial happy hours. The oldest homes in the village were built on the highest ground. They huddle together as if finding strength in numbers in the face of the next flood. In the 19th century, this harbor was the thriving home to over 100 fishing boats. But along with fishing, devastating floods were a way of life here in Marken. When they walled off the sea with a massive dike 50 miles north of here, the salt water turned to fresh water and the sea was controlled. It was tough on the fishing industry, but overall, good for the people. No more floods. While Marken remains both traditional and idyllic to this day, like so much of the Netherlands, it's a place where the past and the present mingle comfortably. The Netherlands offers travelers a rich variety of sights and experiences. And traveling here, sooner or later, you find yourself exclaiming, everything's just so Dutch. I'm Rick Steves. Until next time, keep on traveling. Tot ziens.
Yep.
All right.
Now, the Netherlands is a lot like its people. Warm, even-keeled, good on bikes. Many windmills used their wind power to turn an Archimedes screw like this. Sooner or later, you find yourself exclaiming.
All right. Oregon Public Broadcasting.
I
Very
knew
nice.
it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I knew it had to be some PBS thing.
I knew it. I was like, this is syndicated. It's just some Alan Partridge. Like,
but actually competent.
Yeah, but actually competent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this, man. This more of this dude. Hey.
Yeah. More of Rick Steves, Europe. That's pretty awesome. Man, and to the Dutch folks that are watching, what did Rick miss? What did he get right? What did he get wrong? And again, help us build an itinerary for eventually coming over to the Netherlands. Help us out with that, please.
Yes, I learned a lot. This was super cool. Like, this opened my eyes to the next level. Like, I get it. It's like, it's not, you go, what is it? What did you say? You go for that one place, and then you stay for the rest.
Yeah. Go for Amsterdam, and then stay for everything else that was highlighted here.
Yes, because this is interesting. This is my kind of stuff that he touched on.
Yeah,
give me as far away from the city life as possible. That's where I thrive, and I'm there. I'm there for all of this, man.
Yeah, so. I feel you, man. I feel you. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Consider subscribing and watching another video. Thank you, channel members, for your support.
Yes.
What now, Dan?
Unplug and do something legendary, guys.
And we'll see y'all next time.